Hey everyone, welcome on to Branded. Today we're talking about selling stuff, but more importantly, we're talking about the seeds you plant now are what create demand when you're ready to sell. Have you ever noticed how easy it is to sign clients when you're like booked and busy, right? You're to the point where you're just like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can take on another client right now. Why is everybody coming to me at the same time? It's like this law of magnetism, right? It's so easy to sign people when you're booked and busy. That kind of momentum, right, that you have, it makes your marketing feel so effortless. But the thing is here that those busy seasons, they don't just show up out of nowhere. It's not like you were sitting on your ass and all of a sudden you're booked and busy. They were, built on the backs of slow seasons, were they not? So today we're going to talk about how to make the most of a slow season. And at the time of this recording, it's in the middle of summer, which historically is a relatively slow season for so many businesses. Obviously, it can be a very busy season for some businesses too. So this is all relative to what is your slow season? When does it show up, right? It doesn't have to be summertime, but we're going to talk about how to make the most of it because when things get quiet, most people either panic or they go super, super passive and do nothing. You don't want to do either of those things. So, if you want to build a sustainable business, those quiet seasons, that's where the foundation gets poured. That's where you go back and reassess your foundation, right? Those slow seasons are actually prime opportunities to do incredible work on your business. Are you are you making the most of it? Your next booked out season is being built right now in the quiet. So, here are three things that I do whenever I'm in a slow season. And for me, an example as of right now in the middle of summer, it is not really a slower season, but there has been a little bit of like some pockets where I've had a few weeks of things being a little slower, which has been great because we've moved across the country and all these things. But because I have really good communication with my clients, it's actually worked out perfectly because they've all been taking vacations or they've had things going on in their own lives. And so we've all kind of had these slower seasons simultaneously just happening all at once. So instead of sitting back and being like, okay, well, I'm just going to chill until, they're ready to do more on their business. Oh no, I can be working on my business. I can be whipping out a bunch of podcast recordings. I could be making new resources. I could be updating my website. I could be doing extra stuff for clients that maybe I didn't have time for previously, like special projects. So there's ways to really take advantage of your slow season. And here are three that are my absolute go-tos when you're not really sure what to do with your extra free time. Create more than you can consume, period. Always be creating. If you find yourself in a slow season, please do not sit there and just scroll social media. That is such a time waster. Even if you're telling yourself, oh, I'm searching, I'm researching ideas. Okay, yeah, maybe for like 5 minutes. The rest of those like 55 minutes that you're in the scroll hole, you're probably not researching stuff. You're just wasting your own time. Create more than you can consume. It's easy to scroll and absorb when your business is slow, but why would you waste that valuable time, right? In quarter 4, you're going to be wishing that you had spent time on your business when it was slow because now you don't have time to do it. Now you're too busy with your clients or your kids in school or whatever. Use this time to create, whether it's creating emails, creating podcast episodes, creating lead magnets, doing something with your back end systems, right? Creating them if you don't have them, or refining them if you do. Creating sales pages. You have new funnels, updating your website. There are so many things you can do when you have this really valuable downtime. So even if you're not launching something right now or 2 weeks from now, you can be planting seeds and tending to your garden. So when you're ready to sell, you're ready to sell. Here's like an example for you. Let's say you have a new membership that you're launching in quarter 4. So what you could be doing now is batching all of your resources that are going to go into that membership. You could be batching all of the content, whether you have audio or video assets that are going to go into that vault of things, right? You can be batching all of these things right now while it's a slower season. So when you're ready to launch, everything is good to go. And another thing you don't want to forget to do is market test. You can start testing your content topics, like if utilizing this example of having a membership rollout in Q4. Well, what's your membership about? You can start testing all of that content on your social media right now and see what kind of feedback are you getting? What is resonating the most with your audience? Because you're doing this work now, which means you have time to refine and add or remove things from that membership if you learn something new because you're listening to your audience. So if you listen to a couple episodes back of this podcast, we talked about how if you're going to pivot in your business, it will really pay off if you're listening to the people you're already serving. This is tying right into that concept. When you're ready to roll something out and you want to sell something, a new offer, a new product, do the pre-work in your slow season. Do some of that market testing with your audience. See what they have to say because they're already in your realm and they're going to tell you exactly what they want. So create something, be in creation mode, way more than in consumption mode. The second thing I would do with my downtime, if I so found myself in the position, is I would reconnect and re-engage with my audience. Slow seasons are a perfect time for you to start to re-nurture your audience because, I mean, let's get real, things get super busy and you rely on all your back end systems to do all the communication for you. But if you're in a slower season, why not personally reach out to a past client or to maybe someone who's new that you're hoping to become a client? Reintroduce yourself to them, your subscriber base on your email list, right? They may have been there for years. Depending how regular you are with your email marketing, maybe they don't remember you. Go reintroduce yourself, spark some new conversations instead of waiting for them to come to you. Send a, like, what are you working on this month? Email to all your subscribers, or simply send that as a DM to a couple of people that you really want to work with, or some past clients that you haven't heard from in a while. See what they're up to, because this isn't about pitching yourself. That way you can get busy again. No, this is about presence. This is about showing them that you remember them and you appreciate that they were part of your realm at one point and maybe they still need your services. So contain the connection, right? Don't sever it by waiting for them to come to you. If you want the business, go out and get it. Reconnect and re-engage with your audience. The third thing that I would do if I was in my slow season is I would evaluate what's working and what isn't working for my business. Slow seasons are fantastic, like for reflection, really fantastic for reflection. But you have to be willing to do the work for what you find out. So if you're just going to reflect on something and be like, oh, I'll get to that later, that's not helpful. Do your reflection and ask yourself things like, okay, what is converting? What content of mine is converting? What offers of mine are converting? What leads seem to be dropping off? Is it happening before they ever opt in for something? Is it happening right after they opt in for something? Like, is my lead magnet perhaps not powerful enough or impactful enough for them to stick around? You know, where are these things happening? Another thing you really want to evaluate is what platforms are working for you. Which ones are draining your energy? Which ones are really boosting the work that you're doing? And if you feel like there's one of them that's just draining you, stop using it. It's a waste of your time. This is the time that I audit my systems typically as well. because you want to make sure that you're simplifying your processes and you have things in place. So when you do have that flood of clients, because you know it's going to happen, you're ready. The last thing you want to be doing is stuck scrambling because all you did was procrastinate during your slow season. So here's an example of this, of like evaluating. You realize that 80% of your traffic is coming from interviews that you do, whether it's like a podcast, a Facebook Live, whatever. People are asking you, hey, I want to interview you. And you realize that 80% of your traffic to your website, to your lead magnets is all coming from these interviews. Yet you've been focusing all your energy on Instagram, posting every single day. That doesn't really make sense, right? Because if 80% of your leads are coming from the interviews that you're doing on other people's platforms, right? And you're integrating into their networks, why are you spending all your time making sure you post every day on Instagram? Post enough to stay relevant, right? Once a week, 3 times a week, but you do not need to do 5, 6, 7, 12 times a week on a social media platform if your leads aren't coming from that. Spend your time where the conversion is happening. So instead of doubling down on making sure you're posting every single day, start looking for and accepting collaborations. So this is how that evaluation stage of, being in a slow season can really help you and can actually change the trajectory of your next quarter if you really pay attention and do the work to align with what is actually working. Otherwise, you're just going to be spinning your wheels and you'll find yourself in another 3 months in the exact same position going, I'm posting every day, but like, what's happening? So reconnect with your audience, evaluate what's working, and create more than you can consume. These are the 3 things that I absolutely do every time I find myself in a slow season, because these are the most impactful things that I can do with my time, rather than sitting there spinning out thinking, oh my God, where'd all my clients go? What's happening? Is everybody ghosting me? No, everybody else is probably also in a slower season, or they're busy doing other things that just don't involve you and your expertise, and that's okay. Focus your energy back on your own business. So what most people do, and I'm going to tell you why this doesn't work, they go silent. They change their offers because they're fearful that no one's buying it right now. They start posting without any strategy, right? They're just grasping for straws, basically. They're chasing leads instead of attracting them. Don't make your slow season about chasing anyone or anything. Make it about building. Make it about a solid foundation. Make it about creation. Make it about connection. That's what your slow season is intended for. If you really you can capitalize so much on a slow season to create a phenomenal busy season, not one where you're in the weeds and stressed as fuck. So here's my challenge to you. Pick an action and do it for the next 30 days or so, right? Like pick a really simple action that you can commit to if you happen to be in a slow season right now and you're sort of scrambling for what can I really do to maximize on my business right now while maybe the clients, it's a little quieter. Pick one action and stick to it for like 30 days. The seeds you're planting now are creating the demand when you're ready to sell. Just keep remembering that. What you're doing today is creating the demand when you are ready to sell. So those booked out seasons that you've had in the past and you will have in the future, they are earned in the slow season. So show up now, even if no one's watching. Show up now, even if no one's clapping. Show up now, because what you're building now is creating that booked out season that you're about to have. Share this episode with anybody that might be in a slow season and they're calling or texting you complaining about it every day. Shoot them this little link to this episode and be like, hey, Let's see it a little differently. What can we do instead while we're both a little slow right now? Right? Do it together. It's summertime. I guarantee there are businesses that are slow, and that's why I wanted to have this conversation. There is so much you can be doing with your time and your energy if you really just get focused and stay aligned with the actions that you're taking. So, here's to a booked out season built on the back of a slow one. I'll see you next week in a brand new episode. Bye, y'all. Thank you so much for listening to Branded, the podcast. Please rate and review. And for more information, visit socialjanemedia.com.